a conflict. But, you know, you been in bed with those guys since gold was $250 an ounce. So you've got this long-term relationship with them, and they're not the only guys in town. They're reputable. There's other reputable folks. But the point is that you've grown up with them. You've seen this happen over 10 years.
I believed gold would go up because of dollar devaluation, and I was correct.
10 years. 10 years.
More than 10, yeah.
Okay, so the gold was $250 an ounce back in 2000. Now it's at $1,600 an ounce. So this is not the newest thing. This is not like, flash, buy gold. No, this has been going on for 10
Max,
years.
exactly. The gold and silver that I've never sold any gold and silver I bought. I continue to buy it. I mean, I only promote what I believe in. That's why I sleep so good at night. But I mean, she asked the question. There's the answer. JB in Texas. We got to move quick now. We're really getting behind here. JB, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. Simple yes or no question for Max, and then another simple one for you.
Okay.
The metal sites, Max, have all spoken of explosive August. Do you see that coming? And is it explosive up or down, which would allow us to maximize our stack? And then, Alex, you've spoken of your family leaving the country, and a collapse here in the United States is going to be chaotic. Will the collapse be so noticed in a third world country?
Well, I have said my instinct says get out, but a rat runs, even though that may not be the best thing. I'm staying here.
I'm a rat. I ran. I'm out of there, man.
But you ran into collapsing Europe. But you ran into.
I salute you. No, but I'm going to go wherever I can go. I'm not married to Europe.
Okay, so tell us quickly, where are the best places to go?
Oh, to live in this post-apocalyptic world, Brazil, Chile, very attractive.
Yeah, folks, I'd go to Chile before Brazil.
Also, there's, the point is you got to be mobile. You got to, because there's a lot of moving parts here. And so you should have 2 or 3 passports. You should have businesses in different countries. You should have residences in different countries. You need to become international.
Yeah, I'll be honest. For the first time ever, I've actually looked at opening an office in the Caribbean. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it's getting that bad, folks. Thank you, JB. Barron in Alabama, you're on the air. Got a minute and a half. Go.
All right, my question is basically about the bonds coming up. You know, Italy has 5 auctions coming up the rest of this month. Spain has 3. How can, with the market trading sideways the way that it is, and everybody's waiting, like Max said, in a musical chairs kind of game, how long can that even continue? Because they can't really ease much more from any side.
That's right. There's a circling of the toilet bowl.
Yeah, okay, the answer to that is they are going to give a banking license to the 600, I think it's $1 billion euro lending facility, the European Stability Mechanism. They're going to say, hey, guess what? That's a fund, but now we're going to call it a bank, and they can borrow up to 6 to 15 trillion euros now.
Oh, so talk about creepy. Obama came out 2 days ago and said, we may bail out all big businesses, which means our tax money given to them in corporate welfare. And boy.
Right. So the toilet bowl is swirling, but in Europe, they can still create a bigger facility to swap these Italian junk assets with the European Central Bank and their affiliate fund in exchange for this junk assets. And they have room to expand by up to 10 trillion euros on this. So this is one thing Europe has that they are still
Got it. All right, stay there. We're going to come back with Victoria, Aaron, Jeff, James, Corey, Audrey, Peter. We're going to get to all of you. Last night, the Perseid meteor swarm came through our planetary orbit of the sun. Pretty spectacular. There'll be more tonight. People here in North America. Just remember, the globalists may control some of our countries. They don't control the world in general or the greater cosmos. Max Keiser is our guest, maxkeiser.com. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. So when they're telling them get ready to prevent a collapse, that means get ready for a collapse. And that's what the central banks are really saying. The media spins it that it's prevent. We're in a controlled collapse. They've been giving us a lot of disinfo. Victoria, we got to move quick now. Quick question, quick answer from Max Keiser. Victoria, Florida, you're on the air.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for having me talk to you about Florida. 95% of the fraudulent tax returns are coming from Florida, so says the agent that I spoke to the day before you guys broke the story about this huge fraud. Either they don't have the money to pay, you know, the real people that, you know, have their tax returns being held up. I'm an identity theft victim. And she said that they were from Florida, 400,000 returns, blah, blah, blah. You know, the ineptitude is just, you know, ridiculous. And, you know, it's like, okay, I guess she said.
Well, ma'am, just to be clear, 95% of it's not in Florida. That's just the person you talked to. The big processing center for the IRS that broke that here in the U.S., they're reporting on it going on all over the country. But what's your question for Max Keiser?
Well, you know, and again, like I said, the big place in Austin, that's where everybody has to send their returns for fraud. So to answer your question about why all those tax centers are in Austin is because that's where the people who have to send their paper.
Sure. What's your question for Max? We're almost, show's almost.
And my question is, and in a separate thing is just real quick, I listen to all issues, but what do you guys think of the Zeitgeist movie and its contention that we should just take all of our money out of all
I think it's absolutely horrible. That guy told me, thank you for the call. That guy told me I should be sent to a re-education camp. Everybody living in a big plastic city with a government computer deciding who does what sounds like hell. I mean, send me to hell. That's basically where that would be. Comments on that, Max Keiser?
Well, full disclosure, I'm in that movie, but I've never seen it.
Well, I'm in it too. I would say it's been seen 50, 60 million times, just one version. But let's just get off that. Ma'am, if you want to go to the Plastic City, it's waiting for you. Aaron in Washington, you're on the air. We got to move quick here. Go ahead. Yes, Aaron, that was explosive how you got on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, I got you. Max, quick question. Price of discovery. Most people aren't aware of how the commodity markets work. What is your anticipation of how we're going to see a collapse of price of discovery from paper and going over to real physical?
Okay, well, price discovery is what happens at the point of a sale where the buyers and the sellers are mixed together and a price that is mutually beneficial to all parties is derived through something usually called a specialist. Now, I invented the virtual specialist technology, patent number 5950176, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, which is an improvement on that technology. It has been hijacked by Cantor Fitzgerald and Cantor Entertainment, so it'll never see the light of day. But going forward now, you have rogue computers that are programmed to do what's called electronic wash trading, where they pick a price above or below the current market, and they put on a series of trades and buys and sells simultaneously to manipulate price direction, and that's not price discovery. But they do that to manipulate markets and to confiscate wealth from these markets.
Isn't that just high-tech naked shorting?
It's high-tech lynching, basically. It's high-tech. It's siphoning off of it's siphoning, essentially.
Basically, the stock market, by and large, is becoming a pure fraud, which I even saw mainstream articles the last 2 weeks saying all this high-frequency trading is discrediting the integrity of the system, which you had just said the week before. How long until this becomes evident and the fraud makes the whole thing fall in on itself?
Because all of this fake price discovery, and the caller makes a good, it's a good call, it's a good concept, and people should familiarize ourselves with this idea. But it hollows out all of the what you could call collateral of the system. So you have transactions, you have trades, you have fees, but there's no collateral backing it up. So the only thing that is backing it up are these 0% interest rates that allow for unlimited borrowing at zero cost.
Sure, so we're fueling the speculators. Got to jump to another call. Jeff in Michigan, you're on the air, and then James. Go.
Hello, Max. My question is, you're more familiar with what has gone on recently in Greece and the people's reaction. Do you believe the banks are going to, in order to keep the public's confidence in them, are they going to try and blame a collapse on a war, on the drought, or something other than their derivatives, or will it be transparent to the public and they'll... Yeah,
how did they Svengali that the Greeks are lazy, that's why their government signed them on to Europe's debt to turn it around backwards? I mean, where is that going?
Well, scapegoating is a known psyops, isn't it? We saw that in Europe in the 30s. One group had their wealth confiscated, and then they were scapegoated. They were called vermin by the other side. and then they eventually were all incinerated. And when Paul Moore says we're going through a financial holocaust with 100 million people already put into poverty by the crisis over the past 5 years, with millions now dead or dying, this is exactly what is going on. And they will use any event that they can to mask the Holocaust. It could be an agricultural drought. It could be a spike in food prices. It could be a collapse of a bank. That's one that they use often and quite effectively. Then one of these too big to fail banks collapses. Could be Standard Chartered. Could be HSBC. Could be Bank of America. Suddenly now there's a crisis. Suddenly now there's...
Point is, the whole system is based on massive fraud. Thank you, Jeff. James in North Carolina, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for the time. Two quick questions. One, Max, will the Euro Swiss floor at 120 hold?
No.
No. Okay.
That's a short answer.
The other question is, I'm holding a bunch of puts on Morgan. If the stock goes to zero, will I get paid, or will they just say, yeah, we owe you the money, there's the door, you won't see it?
Well, you have good company there, because I believe Jim Rogers is also short JP Morgan. He's a big time money manager. But the puts, if you're short, you go through the Options Clearing Corporation, which I guess if Morgan goes under, they will have trouble matching trade. So I
but the governments will just pay it off in devalued dollars and other currencies. The problem is that'll bring in hyperinflation. I believe they're going to continue to bail out and pay all this off. It's just going to go into hyperinflation. Max?
Yeah, well, the caller was asking specifically about the workings of the options market, and having been an options broker on Wall Street for many years and one of the biggest options producers in the Shearson-Lehman-Hutton system, I would not hold those contracts.
So you think they may actually stick people that are trading. All right, got it. Kind of like we saw in the MF Global. Thank you, James. Other question?
Will I see volatility increasing in JP Morgan between now and the time that the derivatives come home to roost?
All of the trades are computer generated, and you see, for example, in the volatility index, which is called the VIX, the VIX, it's not reflecting the true underlying volatility. So all of the signifiers that would tell you how bad the volatility is are being curbed. They're being shut down with all this computer trading. So you can't get a good read.
Exactly. As it gets more and more fraudulent, they scramble the numbers more and more, which fogs the whole system. Thank you, James. Audrey in Dallas, and then Peter. We're getting everybody in. Audrey, quick question.
All right, my question is, Angela Merkel has been front and center in Europe, with Germany being the big powerhouse economically speaking, and it's come out recently that their economy is finally on the chopping block. What's the trigger to watch for as far as Germany's collapse?
Well, we've been saying Germany is really the big beneficiary in all this. Before the euro was created, they were forbidden from reuniting. Then magically with the euro came the reunification of Germany, and they're the biggest winner so far, because if they go to a European-wide fiscal consolidation policy, it'll be run out of Berlin and out of Frankfurt. So they potentially...
Yeah, Germany is now conquering economically.
Yeah, they are doing what they have tried to do before, and a lot of people call it the Fourth Reich. And, keep in mind that Germany unemployment number are very strong. They have very strong employment numbers. Their social welfare system, the healthcare, and et cetera, is in surplus. And their export market, as long as they're in the euro and the euro is weak, their export market thrives. They don't want to leave the euro, because then they...
Basically, it's like you said, musical chairs, but the people are also got musical hand grenades, and who knows who the hand grenade's going to explode in their hand, but it's going to kill everybody in the room.
Here's a prediction, wild card prediction. Everyone has been talking about China as being the next superpower. I disagree. I think China's going to collapse. I think the next superpower is going to be Germany. I've been saying that for 2 years now.
I agree with you. I agree. The euro rising. Absolutely.
Well, the Deutsche Mark could rise, but the reconstituted, Eurofied Deutsche Mark run out of Berlin.
Max, we got to get you back on later in the week, like tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. Infowars.com. Sick of the glove.